Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. My name is Amir. So the Miami Heat, the season ended, we obviously know, against the Hornets in the play-in game, and the Miami Heat have to do a lot of things in order to get back into contention. And we know they're stuck in the middle. They've been in the play-in for 4 straight years. And in order to avoid being in the play-in next season, they need to figure some things out because one, they're not bad enough to rebuild. They're not good enough to contend. So again, stuck in the purgatory of the middle, which is like the worst place to be in the NBA. So we need them to obviously do a lot of things in order to contend for a top 6 spot, not even for a championship. But there's a few key things I think they need to do this offseason in order to avoid the same outcome as this past season, a play and run, an early exit, or not even making the playoffs. And so obviously we could sit here first and foremost and talk about what the Miami Heat need to do, which is the most obvious thing, which is go after a superstar. We're going to be going after Giannis if he becomes available. Donovan Mitchell potentially could be a trade target. Kawhi. So obviously we have to go after whoever becomes available. We always will, and we're going to. But getting a superstar is not easy. That's never in your control. But what is in your control are areas for this team to improve realistically. And there's 3 big ones that I think stand out for the Miami Heat if we want to get them back into contention for the playoffs. So, first, we need to talk about their shooting because this one's a little misleading. Like, they didn't look terrible as a team when it came to their 3-point shooting specifically. If you look at the numbers, they were the middle of the pack for both 3-point makes and 3-point attempts. They were 11th in percentage, which is solid, right? But if you actually watch the games and you know that efficiency wasn't really the problem, it was consistency and volume and having enough 3-point shooters on the roster. This team didn't have enough shooters who you could rely on night in and night out. And in today's NBA, that's a huge issue because when defenses don't respect your shooting, everything else falls apart. They just pack the paint, the floor shrinks. Again, the paint gets crowded, and guys like Bam or Kel'el, who are asked to create offense for us in tight spaces, it's not as effective. Bam had a pretty bad mid-range percentage this season, and so that's rough. And then if you also look just across the board with young guys like Jaime, Nico when he was in the rotation, Pelle Larsson, who had a big role this year, they all shot under 32% from 3 this season. That's not good enough if you want to compete. And can they improve? Sure, but can Miami bank on that? Like, no, you can't just rely on development. At some point, you need to go out there, add some proven shooting because right now this team is just too inconsistent from deep. They don't make enough or take enough threes. And that's the difference between a good offense and a great one. And the Miami Heat were a good offense technically. Their offensive rating was, again, also middle of the pack, which has been an improvement for them. They've been bottom 10 a lot of times as well throughout the last 5 or 6 years, even while we had Jimmy Butler. But they need to improve and get someone through a trade, through free agency, through the draft, whatever it is. But another big issue that we've constantly dealt with is size and athleticism. This team, excuse me, is just too small. It's that simple. This team was 24th in blocks this past season, and you could feel it every single game. We had no rim protection outside of Bam and Kel'el Ware, and there's just no consistent presence in the paint, and that's a huge issue. And rebounding did improve, actually. Like rebounding was an issue the last few seasons as well, but we did increase our rebounding rate. Offensive rebounds, that's an area where we need second chance opportunities, and we don't really have that. And we need honestly bigger players when we go up against bigger teams, more physical teams. Our guards specifically had trouble because we were playing small ball a lot. And if you think about the games against the Magic, the Raptors, we lost every game against those teams. And teams in the West, like the Spurs, the Nuggets, those teams have size, they have length, they have youth, they have athleticism. And Miami just doesn't match up well with long, athletic rosters, and they're constantly at a disadvantage. And it didn't help that the front court rotation was so thin. Basically, Nico was out of the rotation. All you had was Kel'el Ware and Bam, and that's not sustainable over a season. Like we need to add someone else. Like I don't know if Kel'el's going to start next to Bam. Hopefully he does next year. Then we desperately need to get bigger. You've got to get more athletic. You need another real front court piece, especially coming off the bench. Whether again that's through the draft or a trade or whatever it may be, Miami needs a reliable backup who can protect the rim, who could rebound, who can give flexibility next to Bam or Ware and give those guys a break because right now they just don't have that. And that's been a huge issue that's been holding us back. And I'm quite frankly tired of watching small ball basketball. The third area, which you can argue might be one of the most important, is playmaking. The Miami Heat don't have a true offensive engine. Davion Mitchell has been great in his role, obviously, but he's not a true floor general. He's not a true starting point guard. I want Davion to get an extension. He's on a 1 year deal. He has one more year left in his contract. He could be our backup point of attack defender, someone who can play make. Obviously, his playmaking has improved, but we need a true elite playmaker, and we don't have that on the roster. Norman Powell, he's a free agent. Not sure if he's coming back. Not a good playmaker. Tyler Hero, good playmaker, obviously, but that's not his role. He's a shooting guard. We need him to score first, honestly. So we need someone who can consistently run the offense, create easy shots, get to the rim, take pressure off everyone else, and because we don't have that, we see a lot of isolation, a lot of late shot clock situations, a lot of tough contested shots, a lot of bad half court offense in the clutch. And now, we have to give Bam credit over the years because he's become a better improved passer, but we don't want him to be a primary playmaker. Same with Tyler Hero. He's improved over the years. We don't want him to be our playmaker. We need to maximize their strengths. We need someone to unlock Bam Adebayo, honestly. Like, look at players like Clint Capella or Jared Allen, like when they're playing with like a James Harden, who's one of the most elite passers, obviously, even at his age. But like, we need someone who can unlock Bam, someone who can unlock Kel'el Ware and give them better opportunities in the dunker spot at the rim, and someone who can collapse the defense, who can get open shots for your shooters. Davion has done a damn good job off that, but I want him to do that off the bench. And because when the game slows down, Miami struggles to generate clean looks. That's plain and simple. So upgrading the point guard position, adding a high level playmaker has to be a priority this offseason for sure. Like, we need Bam to be with the true point guard, and that's going to help with the bigger picture. Ultimately, the Miami Heat, if they want to continue to stay in the play-in, they're not going to address these areas. They need to address at least two of these three areas, and things can change. There are four areas, obviously, because I mentioned getting a superstar. So if they can get a superstar, that's number one priority. Like, it's not as realistic, it's not as controllable as development and improvements across the board from your players or adding pieces. Like, there's no guarantee in all of that, like, but still adding a superstar would be number one. I think getting a playmaker would be huge for Bam, for Kel'el, and then also, of course, adding some size. We need some athletes, and I'm just tired of watching small ball basketball. So we'll see. But those are the three areas I think the Miami Heat should focus on. Obviously, outside of obtaining a superstar like Giannis or Mitchell or whoever becomes available this offseason. So anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel for more Miami Heat content.